Hamilton United, all dressed all in orange, not going to kick off. Play host to Electric City FC, who have come in from Peterborough. They are in the all white. About to kick off. We'll be kicking left to right. The all white with the yellow lightning bolt on the pauldron, and the I will confess, the yellow numbers on white will be something of a challenge, but we'll work our way through it, I'm sure. So, Electric City getting us started, getting this brand new season of League One Ontario Women's Premier Division underway for our first game of the week. Thank you so much for joining us here on YouTube. And I'm sure the teams on the field will give us something special this evening. As mentioned, this is a brand new season. There's always new plans afoot, new players, new ideas, new dreams of what could be. Hamilton United will certainly look to improve their 18th place finish from last year. There's several new additions to the squad, as mentioned, largely looking engineered to address the lack of scoring from last summer. So maybe we'll see some of those, and we'll address those as the names come up. Electric City, on the other hand, as many folks will know, in their second season, after a very strong showing in their inaugural debut last summer, 8th place overall, a good start to things, but I'm sure by no means an end point for this ambitious club based out in Peterborough, as our first attempt on goal, if it could be considered as such, drifts wide from Hamilton. Electric City get us going, clearly looking to build their play out from the back here. And so Maria Shaw getting us restarted here. Back to the goalkeeper, the returning Brianne Carrero, back out to Shaw. Intercepted nicely in midfield as Jada Breo now on the ball, was quick into that challenge. Hamilton not in a rush, as that attempted pass for Lindsay Barwitzki was a little loose and latched upon by Electric City as they now drive down the line, looking to gain some territory, probe at the master ranks of Hamilton United. Abreu again, looking hungry in that midfield. Any of those balls played inside, she was going to be looking to snap up. Electric City may be a little slow to react to the loss of the ball, as that one is played through for Madison Goetz to chase down the line. She's got some options in the middle, but it just would not lose pace. There is a light breeze, as you can see from the corner flag here, running from, as you are viewing it, right to left. Now, it looks like that one just picked that ball up and kept it rolling out of play, but that throw-in, not a good one. Emily Calabrese latching onto it as Goetz looks to play it inside. And then that attempt from Poor Bakhtiari, a little awry, but nicely worked from Hamilton. Pouncing on a mistake, but being patient nonetheless, working that opening, and giving Poor Bakhtiari a clear sight of goal. Loose ball in the middle of the field is quickly snaffled by Electric City as they look to move the other way, but run out of play, shepherded out really. Well, Bakhtiari could have spread the play and was maybe looking for the overlap of Barwitzki, the somewhat idiosyncratically numbered number 9, playing at left back. Shaw not quite able to keep that one in. Well, dispossessed now by the advancing Kayla McQueen. Kayla McQueen, of course, was the fourth highest goal scorer in the league last year, so a real danger and one to look out for. That number 13 up front. She will take chances if they come her way. Nice ball into space there. The turf looks pretty quick this evening. As mentioned, it was raining earlier today, so the surface is still likely pretty slick. We'll see whether the conditions will have a telling effect upon proceedings this evening. As Electric City line up on their first corner of the evening, be interesting to see how they take this on. I will say, to my mind, with the way that Hamilton defended that, there was a pretty big gap between their lowest line of defense and the high one, which was watching the players, that Electric City might be able to capitalize on, as they may well be able to do with this break. Drove into the space very nicely down that left wing, had the opportunity, but the eventual shot slightly off target. We're still early in the game, only in the 7th minute. Plenty of football left to be played this evening. Raro's kick eventually making its way to Barwitzki with a nice ball forward for Jenna Paris to chase. And a wee nibble at the ankle there from Abreu. Stops that Electric City movement in its tracks. Well, Alicia King looking to turn, but Barwitzki was sharp to it. Throw that was bouncing down a channel, ushered out of play. Electric City look to re-establish themselves and re-establish a presence in the Hamilton United end. Patiently gaining territory. Should be noted, of course, that you can follow League One Ontario Women's Premier Division on pretty much every social media outlet known. And then a couple of days ago, there was actually a poll run on the Twitter feed for League One Women's Premier Division that was asking, who do we think would win this evening? And of the respondents, 65% were voting for Electric City FC. Now, whether that is a reflection of the perceived dominance of this Peterborough-based team, or whether it is a reflection perhaps of the community and fan base that this club has managed to foster in its single season, is yet to be seen. But I'm sure that Hamilton United would love nothing more and will be looking to act as spoilers this evening to that perceived win percentage deficit that they had there. Although that's a neat play from Electric City to find some space, but the through ball not eluding Brianna Caldwell there. That rock at the heart of the Hamilton United defense. Read the intentions of that forward pass beautifully. Oh, a nice ball into space now. And the fullback opting to loft one in rather than drive into the space that she was offered. Barwitzki put under a bit of pressure, made to face her own goal, but Hamilton able to work their way out. Madison Gertz with the initial poor ball actually showing terrific poise under pressure to work their way through. Now, Again, another long ball for Paris to place. Now look at that pace. Look at her go to put the afterburners burners on, split the defenders. This is a big field that they're playing on here. And I'm sure that's Hamilton United will be looking to exploit that space in behind those Electric City defenders, particularly in the if they're able to bank on the pace of Paris. Nice work from UCFC to keep hold of this ball, retain possession, work those openings. King turning, jinking, finding space in there, just losing her footing, but able to retain possession of the ball. The referee not pleased with the way things turned out there, offering a free kick for Hamilton United. As Caldwell assesses her options. Opts to keep hold of the ball for now. Barwitzki being offered all manner of space in that channel there. Oh, and the idea not a bad one, but the execution just slightly lacking on this occasion. Looking for the run of Paris, but a little too far ahead of the lone striker there. Quick note on formations. Obviously, they don't mean a great deal once the ball is in play. But Hamilton looking to set up in something akin to a 4-2-3-1. Electric City certainly much more fluid in the top half of the field. But we'll see how the shapes and the strategies play out over the course of this game. Certainly the Electric City fullbacks perhaps with slightly different details this evening, as the fullback on the far side certainly much more willing to run into that space, and her forward winger may be tucking inside, whereas it seems on the near side to us, Shaw and King maybe are playing a little bit more traditionally, where King is the forward who is willing to stay wide, get the chalk on her boots, so to speak. And again, Barwitzki alive to the attempted turn from King. Oh, nice work there from Rebecca Lampke. Oh, nice turn. The Queen looking, assessing her options. She didn't really see anything on the run inside from King. Wasn't really what she needed at that point. She needed an option out. As Mihalopoulos keeps us moving. The Electric City FC, of course, captain with European experience. The Queen who had stayed out there, moving that ball inside, looking for that one through. Oh, and looking for a turn, very neatly done, but just pipped off the feet of the advancing forward. The turn beating her initial defender, but the massed attentions of Hamilton United eventually smuggling the ball free. Shaw battles her way through past the attentions. Poor back Thierry. Sensibly back to the feet of Brianne Carrero, who's likely happy to get a touch. As mentioned, the evening is cooling somewhat, so I'm sure these goalkeepers will be pleased with any sort of involvement. Shaw not quite able to evade the attentions of Gertz, this opting to simply put that ball out of play into safety. Very neat play from Electric City to just get themselves up the field. A series of short passes, but cut out by Caldwell as ever. Alert to the danger. A nice turn from Paul Bakhtiari. Caldwell now being chased by McQueen. Ooh, wonderful work through the middle of the field there from the Hamilton United midfielder, but the ball looking to be played into her path by Calabrese, just out of her reach. Richie Fair sliced through the Electric City midfield at that time. Barwitzki just looking to lump that one into the center of the field, finding only Mihalopoulos, who keeps things moving. Oh, a nice touch to elude her opposite number there. Now striding forth with the ball and then just not quite in sync with Mariah Shaw on that occasion. Was looking for her fullback to be taking the space rather than offering the safe option out. Well, Caldwell closed down quickly and sharply by McQueen. Not really able to get a clean ball through, but it's enough. It's enough for Paris to chase nonetheless. The Hamilton forward, looking hungry, looking like she wants one this evening. Barwitzki, just looking to thread that one through to Gertz, but the Electric City defense alive to it. As King looks to turn away from the attention of two, not quite able to do so. Shaw just clears it and wins a free kick for her troubles. Barwitzki deemed to have been a little too brusque in her attentions towards the Electric City fullback. Ball over the top now, and Shaw's ball for King needed to be have a little bit more craft and guile to it than that one. But that was a great ball for Lamke for Shaw to chase, to develop a platform for forward momentum. Gertz with a very nice through ball, but again, this ball, we've seen it over and over again already this evening, moving really quickly across the surface, just always getting away from players. We'll see if the teams are able to adapt as the game winds its way towards its eventual finish. Neat ball into the feet of Gertz with a good turn for Calabrese. Looks for the overlapping run of Abreu. She's able to keep this one in play. What a very nice turn to get herself the space for a wicked-looking ball in for Gertz. Electric City nearly finding themselves at 6s and 7s, falling over one another, but with the time to gather themselves and their thoughts and get that ball out of danger. The turn from Abreu, though, a real neat piece of trickery. Jimenez looks for Barwitzki, who will play that one back in field for Gertz. the idea to find Jenna Paris was a good one. She was in a great deal of space over on this side, but Abreu not able to get that ball over to her. But again, worth bearing in mind, Paris has a good deal of space around her. So if this switch can find her. Oh, and once again, the idea from Abreu, not a bad one, but not quite in sync with her teammates just yet. Nobody looking to run onto that through ball from her. Electric City will gladly watch that ball glide out of play. Oh, and the ball inside for Paris was a good one, but read beautifully by the Electric City defense. Oh, Calabrese looking for the run of Gertz, but not quite. On running all the way through for Caldwell, as I'm sure she'll be quite pleased about. Hamilton once again looking to build. Once again, slightly at odds with one another. As Abreu was looking up the field, and Jimenez was looking square, but as the game wears on, I'm sure they'll work those kinks out of the game. King able to turn in the middle of the field, losing her footing. Hamilton able to capitalize, will potentially break, but has to be said, a slightly reckless back heel from Calabrese, stymieing that forward thrust. Oh, that ball, clear the intention into the space was for Paris to chase it, but she, again, wasn't quite alive to the idea. But again, it's a nice idea. We're seeing some good thought, some good reading of the space in between and behind the defenders by the Hamilton United team with these through balls and these passes forward. And it feels like really only a matter of time before everything sort of clicks for that front four of Hamilton. And they're able to start crafting some opportunities on goal. In the 23rd minute, taking over into the 24th, we're really yet to see anything a sort of programmatic creation of chances, as it's the Hamilton United defense are quick off the mark to really cut out anything coming through. And Hamilton, yet to fully be in sync. Oh, and Shaw maybe getting slightly fortunate with that call from the referee. There's a ball in field. Was being hungrily eyed by the Hamilton United forwards. Oh, a ball lumped forward, but again, Caldwell happy to snaffle up anything that looks even slightly loose anywhere near her. Electric City with their second corner of the game. We saw on the first one there was a pretty yawning chasm around the penalty spot. We'll see if Electric City try and deliver a ball into that spot. Oh no, take it short. And the ball this time just not really making any further than McKenna Williamson, the promising OUA All-Star. Oh, and that one lofted over the top for McQueen to chase. She nearly got there, but Yana Febraro in the Hamilton United goal was alive to it. It was quick off a line. a terrific ball. And so you can see actually the Hamilton United forwards have been, that front line's been swapping places. So now Abreu, who had started the game on the far side from us, is now actually over on the close side, near side to us, where Gertz had started the game, and indeed we'd seen Paris spend a little bit of time too. So they look like they're, not only are they working with themselves to kind of sync things up, but they're working, tricky ball from Barwiski, maybe not a smart one to make flat across the face of her own defense like that. But yes, back to Hamilton. They maybe moving their forward players around to just see what they can exploit, if they can take advantage of any matchups there that will better work for their advantage in their favor. But again, they're going to need to be a lot more careful with these through balls, as they have a tendency to just work their way out of play and keep moving on this slick turf with this wind. Paris wanted that one long. That was the ball she was looking for, but it was maybe a little too straight for her. Seconds before that one was passed, she was pointing. That's pretty much where she wanted it from Caldwell, but again, yeah, the pass may be a touch too straight this time around. Nicely read from Barwiski to spring that one and get Hamilton moving forward in transition. Abreu putting that one behind Gertz, and again another example of Hamilton not quite being in sync. I mean, first game of the season being at this point 20 into the 28th minute. That sort of thing could be excused, but you don't want to see that happening too much longer. The Hamilton United faithful him not particularly pleased with that call from the referee, feeling it was maybe a little soft, but I think it's fair to say it was an extended period of undue attention that resulted in that free kick. McQueen looking to play in King, coming around the blind side of Barwiski, working really well. Did terrifically to fight to not even crash. He scrapped and fought and dug that chance out of nowhere. The ball from McQueen was a tricky one. Barwiski didn't really keep an eye over her shoulders. King sprung out of her blind spot, but in the end not able to retain balance and wrap her foot around that to get it on net. But a promising move from Electric City nonetheless. Ball back Thierry, turning nicely and looking to play that one for Paris to chase, but again, that one just carrying out of play. We'll see how the dynamic shifts actually a little bit in the second half. That'll be an interesting development to see whether the Hamilton team have more luck playing into the wind, or indeed whether the wind at field level is in pretty much every direction, as it may well be. But you can see this ball fair zipping over the surface. The left-sided centre-back for Electric City, of course the one that the players are referring to as Kiwi, being Rebecca Van Dort, who has joined. This is her debut season. This is actually, it would be her competitive debut for Electric City. Similarly with Rebecca Lamke, actually the right-sided centre-back, who's more used to playing as a full-back. Oh, that's a neat little back heel from Abreu for the on-rushing Barwiski. her ball was a little awkward for Gertz, and then actually nobody else was in attendance to get to it. As poor Bakhtiari looks to just flick that one on. Gertz turning neatly, but nowhere to go. Breo choosing the sensible option to keep hold of things. Barwitzki spreading that one across for Williamson. She's got Paris ahead of her. She continues her run down the line. Paris finding that overlap. The ball, though, with Williamson fighting nicely on that side. Not letting this one go. But in the end, seen out of play by a combination of Electric City defenders. Poor Bakhtiari with, again, never really having a great deal of time. Never really seems to bother her. Ooh, like to just loft that one over shore, but she cuts that one out. A neat turn from King infield. Oh, a couple of heavy challenges there. The Electric City coach displeased with things, and as poor Bakhtiari earns herself a yellow card in the 32nd minute. Equally of note on that play was the physical treatment that Brianna Caldwell had given Kayla McQueen in winning the header before the play was pulled back. I'm fairly sure that's not the sort of thing that will be ruffling the feathers of the leading Electric City FC scorer. It's very clear that Caldwell is really her assigned marker here, so we'll see how that one develops, that battle between the two of them. Abreu now running at the defense, but not really able to get anywhere with that one. Poor Bakhtiari choosing the sensible option, finding Caldwell. No pressure on her. She's able to pick her pass, but can't get it past the midfield there. Forward, Sarah Vogel able to move it forward, and Barwitzki just finding the space as the ball is threaded through to her. And again, that back heel from Abreu for the overlapping Barwitzki is one they have had some success with earlier. Looks like they may be looking for some success with it later too. Van Dort playing that one back to goalkeeper Carrero. Lamke perhaps appealing in hope rather than anything else with that throw-in. She sort of just ran out of space. That's with a neat little layoff there for Calabrese to play it in for Abreu. And the handball given. Again, the Electric City FC coach remonstrating with the fourth official over that call. He's not particularly pleased. Proximity, he feels, should have been played a role perhaps in that call. So we'll see now an opportunity for Hamilton United to launch a set piece from a really dangerous position. We've got a stack of orange jerseys who likely will break in an effort to confuse their markers, but the ball in, initially didn't look too promising, but started dropping precipitously towards the end of its arc, nearly dipping over Carrero in the Electric City FC net, but I'm sure she was relieved to see it just float over the bar, and you can actually still see it nestling in the top of the net there. That the attempted cross from Barwitzki. Electric City FC now playing nicely to move the ball upfield. I have to say they do have a tendency to just move that ball centrally, which seems to really play to the shape that Hamilton United have got set up. If perhaps they were able to exploit those wide areas, they may have a little bit more luck. If we recall, actually, very, very early on in the game, 7th minute or so, the far side fullback for Electric City had the run of the field on that far side, was able to drive into the penalty area and actually take a shot. So it'll be interesting to see whether Electric City persist with this tactic of moving the ball infield from the fullbacks as Van Dort steps out, advances with the ball, beats the press nicely. The fullback now has no options except to go herself. Looks for McQueen, but the ball a little too strong. Slightly out of the reach of the forward. A scruffy battle in the middle of the field that poor Bakhtiari comes out ahead of. Calabrese finds Goetz. Neat play in the middle there to find their players with the space. And a lovely lofted ball over for Abreu. Nearly in behind, but the ball maybe held up on the turf. Caught inside very nicely, but her shot in the end, lacking the venom I'm sure that she was really hoping to deliver it with. Safely pouched by Carrero. You have to say that, but this time, the ball from poor Bakhtiari was beautifully weighted, perfectly into the path of Abreu. What a great turn from King. Again, looking inside. Try to play that one through. And again, neat work through the middle of the field from Hamilton to find this ball out wide. Balwitsky able to just take all kinds of space there and actually beat herself. And again, you can see just how quickly this ball is zipping across the surface, particularly in these wide areas. And the Electric City FC coaching staff now, who have been, I think fair to say, vocal throughout this first half. Now, actually, it's the assistant coach, Michael Morcoccia, who's being instructed to sit down, whereas Randy Rivera, the head coach, is able to continue his remonstrations with the officiating staff. Taking umbrage at a particular challenge that you may have recalled was in the middle of the field there, as King had moved infield, and looked to play her pass forward, and actually was taken out from behind, or certainly in the eyes of the Electric City coaching staff, was taken out from behind. Balwitsky's ball, not a good one, but Goetz does well and win that one. Oh, but her ball for Paris lacking somewhat. Mihalopoulos able to clean up, and now Electric City have nothing but space to drive into. A nicely weighted ball for the winger to chase. One-on-one against the opposite fullback, forcing her way through, knocking that ball across, just glancing the brows of Kayla McQueen before meeting the forehead of Brianna Caldwell. Seen out. Finding joy down those flanks this time, Electric City FC. And we'll see whether this is a route they continue to pursue throughout the game. Now again, we have an opportunity to see how these set pieces are about. Hamilton setting up on the edge of their own penalty area, holding a line there, and actually collapsing that pretty quickly, which works for Electric City as they're able to advance into the penalty box. Oh, a great touch from Paris past her defender there, and able to, nearly able to launch into a forward transition. Not quite able to keep that one alive. Hamke working with her teammates to just seesaw that one out to the shore on the right fullback position. Just eluding her touch this time around, but able to intercept that throw only as far as pullback Thierry. It's clear that the defensive midfielder for Hamilton is certainly the one they want on the ball. Oh, but Vogel with a loose header back, actually nearly allowing McQueen in as she looked ready to chase that one down, but Vogel actually atoning for her earlier misplay nicely. Williamson keeps that one moving. Calder has plenty of time to assess her options. Whiskey now, nothing but green grass ahead of her, opting to keep that one moving for Jade Abreu. Looks like she wants to cut inside, find an option. Abreu has continued her drift across the field. Wants some help, Williamson offers. Calabrese not quite able to bring that one under her spell, and the ball is lashed clear by the Electric City defense. I'd say this has been a very tight, taut opening half. Neither team really able to consistently craft any sort of chances. But certainly, I have to say, Hamilton looking the more likely at this point. As poor Bakhtiari has found herself all the way up. And a terrific overlapping run, or underlapping run, I suppose, but nothing in the way of support in the penalty area. So her cross, which was far too close to the goalkeeper in the first phase, was really didn't have any support. Abreu battles well to win that one back for her team. A neat ball through for Gertz, but not quite able to bring it in, as Van Dort will very calmly just bring that one forward. I tell you what, cheeky stuff there on the far side. Jimenez, Calabrese looking to turn, sneaking her way through, but a retreating midfield takes that one off her toes. The Hamilton crowd looking for some help from the referee here, but he saw nothing awry in the play from Van Dort to take that one away. Jimenez able to wriggle her way free. Gertz finding Paris. Or Abreu rather, lofting that one over for Paris. But actually a terrific read from Carrero. Take that one away. Knock that one out of the sky. The first half winds its way to a close here. Hamilton might be looking to, just missing that connection. Or either team may be looking to go ahead and take something right at the death of the half. Be a very different conversation. It's a nice ball. McQueen had found herself peeled off her defense nicely. Cut inside well, and that ball just wouldn't settle for her. Ended up snatching at the shot a little bit. But she'd done really well to just find a bit of space at the edge of the kind of defensive envelope, so to speak. Was found well with the ball through to her, but this time not able to strike.
The officials have indicated
And just in case you couldn't hear the stadium announcer, we're going to get 1 extra minute of added time here at the end of the first half. Minimum thereof. I'm sure, as mentioned, both teams will be eager. Now, Electric City looking to sort of establish a presence now in the Hamilton United half. Very neatly working with that interplay, but well seen out by Williamson on that far side to secure a goal kick for her team and possibly see out this first half. As mentioned, it's been a bit taut, it's been a bit cagey. It's been a tense opening to things for both teams as they both look to settle down, work their way into some familiar patterns of play. We've seen a single booking, of course, for the number 16 of Hamilton, Paul Bakhtiari, and he was in the 32nd minute of the half. We'll see whether that has as King just steps away from a challenge very, very nicely. Keeps things moving. And again, Electric City constantly looking to come inside rather than drive towards that byline, maybe working against them, but I'll bring this first 45 minutes to a close. We'll take a very brief break. Welcome back, folks, to the second half of our first game of the week for the League One Ontario Women's Premier Division. Here in a quickly cooling Tim Hortons field in Hamilton. We're actually seeing our first substitution of the evening as Bryn Juris is brought into the field.
Leaving the game is number 16, Tiam Poraktiari. Entering the game, number 15, Bryn Juris.
And so, okay, an interesting note here. So the player in the first half, Tiam Poraktiari, the number 16 who had received the yellow card in the 32nd minute, has actually been replaced by number 15, Bryn Juris, who's taken a position over on the far side there. An extra wrinkle to this substitution, of course, is that Bryn Juris actually played for Electric City FC last season, contributing with a few goals of her own. So we'll see how she's able to perform against these this team she knows so well. I was going to say players, but that might not necessarily be true. As mentioned, the roster of both of these teams received something of an overhaul over the winter. Noteworthy, of course, for Electric City losing a couple of pretty influential players to the Euro. You didn't think I was going to get through the game without mentioning that, of course. The Holly O'Neill, who actually pitched in with 9 goals for Electric City last season, had moved to IBV over in Iceland. You'll have to forgive my non-attempt of the full pronunciation of the name. And then Hayley Walsh has found herself over at Treaty United in Limerick over in Ireland. So Hayley Walsh, not a goal scorer so much as a tempo setter and a solid midfielder, so her presence not here at this game. Potentially missed, but no, that is not necessarily for me to decide. Now, we are quickly underway as Van Dort looks to really get things going in the second half. Get things going with a bang. Just as a quick programming note as well, you may have noticed a brief change of perspective, or a slight change of perspective in our camera angle. We did move at halftime. Your intrepid broadcasting crew is open to the elements here, and we are concerned about some impending rain. So that's why we have moved, and again, we'll see if the prevailing conditions change there as Oliveira chases down Williamson. Not quite able to do it, but the ball neatly intercepted and found its way to King. Had the shooting opportunity and decided to turn it down and instead looked to charge into that space, but Caldwell instead just seeing Alicia King out of play, almost as if she was the door worker at a particularly prestigious establishment. Also, actually, at halftime, briefly spoke to one of the staff members here at Tim Hortons Field, who was telling me about the wind, which, of course, I'm sure all Hamilton natives will be aware of. But he was telling me that it whips down off the escarpment straight out into the lake, which is indeed right to left. So actually, the way the Electric City is kicking now in all white, instead of. And so we'll see if Hamilton, who had suffered slightly in the hands of this wind and their through balls really finding themselves consistently a little bit too long, in the first half. We'll see if they're able to find their range a little bit better in the second half. That one is allowed to bounce in the penalty area. Almost like surprising, I think, Mariah Shaw, who had didn't really know what to do with it. Instead, slightly scuffed her shot, snatched at it a little. And Hamilton was able to smuggle that one clear. Ooh, good work from Paris. Fight to keep that one alive. Jimenez looking for Abreu, but not really getting anywhere with it. Electric City keeping this one alive all the way back with Carrero. Out to Van Dort. The ever eager Riley Trakoff here on the near side to us now. As we saw her in the first half, she was always happy to make that run forwards. Actually a Guyanese international, so CONCACAF experience. Ooh, Williamson, not a good ball, finding McQueen, who has options running either side of her. Finds King. Oh, nice touch from McQueen, but just maybe a little bit too heavy. It's unsure whether that ball from King was actually meant for her or for eBay, the opposite winger, but McQueen nearly turned that into something much more special. Of course did. Hamilton neatly moving that one through Jimenez. Or Calabrese rather, looking for the on-rushing Juris, but not quite able to work that one out. Shaw now looks to break and take it the other way. King making that run down the line, coming underneath the fullback, but again we saw this ball just will not settle. As even at field level, just continued rolling, and I feel like I'm a broken record. I keep saying this over and over again, but these through balls really aren't settling for either team when moving from when kicking towards the scoreboard, or which is the lake end, I suppose, of the Tim Hortons field. Pretty good turn from Paris there, but a great recovery from Trakoff. A slide in, make sure that Paris isn't able to gain further ground. It's his return to Williamson, just out of play, but I don't think anybody can begrudge her that. Commonly acknowledged to be one of the hardest feats in football, to be able to just knock it back to the throw-in, and that's not me being facetious. I must stress that. Abreu looking to elude the attentions of two defenders there. Not quite able to, but we did win a free kick for header balls. Throw in, my apologies. Paris looking to feed that one inside for Calabrese, but gets cleared out as far as Oliveira. Finds the overlapping King, or the on-rushing King rather. Overlap somewhat stopped as she holds up, looks to loop one over. Tried to get it over Vogel, but it's a good read from the Hamilton centre-back to make sure it didn't run its way through to the Kayla McQueen, who was lurking just behind her. would like to take a quick note to remind you that tonight's broadcast is brought to you by CIBC, a proud partner of League One. Gatorade, which helps you rehydrate, replenish, refuel. Degree, inspiring the confidence to move. And, of course, Macron, work hard, play harder, which both of these teams, of course, are. Some good work at the edge of the area there to craft a shooting opportunity from Monet Alonso Cruz, another debutante player this evening. Actually, a standout player for the Mount Royal University out west. She had 3 goals as McQueen looks to just scrap her way through that Hamilton defense. Wonderfully weighted ball for Juris to chase onto. She has options through the middle, and she's Paris streaking through, screaming for the pass. There it is, finds its way to her feet. She looks to feed in Gertz, but Lamke does well to keep up with the Hamilton United forward and make sure nothing untoward comes of that. We'll say the ball through for Juris to chase was really beautifully weighted. Kind of was the spring for it all. Well, that's great work from Paris to rob the Electric City defense. Now Gertz just dawdling on the ball a little, not really able to make up her mind. She had Juris overlapping on the left, but maybe just couldn't sort her feet out. And Lamke able to actually step in and clean things up, but Hamilton again looking dangerous here. As Juris cuts in, looks to shape one for that far corner, and again it just drifting over that crossbar, looking dangerous. Carrero watched it. Who's to say whether if it was staying on target, she was in the right spot? But very, very good effort from Juris, who was looking to cut in from that left-hand side, in on that right foot. So let's all keep an eye out for that one as the play develops. As we move into the 56th minute, the opening salvos of this first half, of the second half, my mistake, certainly proving a touch more open, a little more goal mouth action already in this second half. Williamson showing good speed to keep up away from IB. Yeah, smart play to find Jimenez in space. Plays a beautiful ball over for the fullback to move on to. Oh, and there's another one. Oh, and again, just drifting over. This time from Calabrese, you can see what they're going for. They're trying to find these top corners. That's 2 excellent opportunities in the last couple of minutes from Hamilton. Happy to take these long-range efforts, actually, as we see a slightly more aggressive press, perhaps, out of the second half, coming out of the changing room in the second half. There, yeah, certainly Gertz wasn't getting anywhere near that close to the goalkeeper in the first half, which not only beats Williamson, but has her fall over, and then wins the throw-in. Feeds in IB Love. That's terrifically weighted throw. I know it seems, again, slightly facetious thing to say, but I mean it. The ball from IB looking dangerous, but cut out neatly by that Hamilton United defense. Oliveira able to turn. Looking to feed in King on that far side, but these balls just not holding up at all. Hamilton, I'm sure, not want to be allowing Marissa Oliveira to turn in those positions, to pick those balls through. Pitched in with 6 goals herself last season for Electric City, so certainly no stranger to the score sheet. Oh, lovely work from Calabrese there. Gets Abreu. Once Juris, but Juris needed to check her run, get herself back on side. She's able to do so. Lofted through for Gertz, but cut out by Lamke. Oh, Juris was looking for Paris on that far side, but read by Trykov. Williamson now stepping inside, looking for options. We'll move that one out. Paris has the space. Calabrese turning in. Finds Juris, who is maybe just looking for Gertz, but again, the Hamilton United striker had just overrun Mark. Of note, you've heard me reference to this so far this half is Anna Ivy on this far side, or the near side rather. Near side winger is another debutant today. Now coming from Niagara University, she actually ranks 7th in all time in Niagara University history, 7th in goals scored. So certainly bringing a scoring pedigree from those wide positions. It'll be intriguing to see how the partnership of her and Riley Traykoff develops over the course of this game and indeed the season. Nice touch from Mihalopoulos. And Gertz is able to feed in Abreu. Looks for Juris. Ball with maybe a wee bit too much spice on it. And able to get out of her end with a straight ball, but Ivan turning into danger. Abreu winning that free kick. As, before we restart play, we've got another couple of changes here for Hamilton United. Doesn't seem like anybody's too rushed to get this going, but it looks like we've got Madison Gertz being replaced by Joel Chacal.
Leaving the game, number 2, Matty Gortz.
And Ignacia Jimenez being replaced by Ireland Scanlon.
Joel Chacal. And number 6, Ireland Scanlon.
Of note, of course, Joel Chacal is one of these new forward options that I was talking about at the top of the broadcast, who's been brought in. She has been recruited straight out of McMaster, has scored freely with them during her time with McMaster University, and certainly, as you can see, is already bringing a great deal of energy. Williamson reads that one nicely, actually. Doesn't give Traykoff any sort of time to get out. Van Dort now stuck in a corner, unable to find her way free, but winning the goal kick off the toe of the advancing Hamilton United forward, so no harm done there. With the time to turn, looks to loft that one over for King. She's got the time and the space to bring this one in. Squaring up with Barwitzki, whether she wants to take her on. Looking for Monet Cruz, but Calabrese is there to keep that one loose. Shaw and Jerus fighting for it, but Lamke's able to step in. Oh, Chacal nips in from the blind side there of Shaw. And Jenna Paris looks to power her way past Riley Traykoff. But the fullback, the Guyanese international fullback, not giving up on it. Giving up only a throw-in. dealt a hard fall for her troubles. Interesting to know whether this was, I mean, certainly to my eye, it seems that Hamilton United are much more aggressive in terms of chasing that ball down in the Electric City end this half. Oh, as that one eludes Carrero, but just awkwardly bouncing over the goalkeeper, but Mariah Shaw alive to that danger. We nearly had a calamitous opening to the scoring if it weren't for the Electric City fullback keeping her head screwed on and using it to clear that ball off the line, giving up in this time only a corner. And again, you can see Hamilton United stacked up at that far post as they break, and that one just kind of evades everyone with that ball from Barwitzki. But a change now.
In the 64th minute. Leaving the game is number 10, Marissa Olivero. Entering the game is number 17, Natalie Coscarella.
Yeah, as you may have heard, Marissa Olivero is replaced by Natalie Coscarella. Yeah, as mentioned, I'm just intrigued just to see whether the game plan from Hamilton United was to see the first half out, maybe keep it tight, keep it safe, and then perhaps in that second half maybe get on that front foot a little bit more, or whether it was more the players themselves were a touch too timid in that opening 45 minutes, and the head coach has stoked them up, so to speak. As we see Alicia King bearing the effects of maybe some undue and unwanted attention in the middle of the field. Ibe able to turn. Looking for Trikoff, but Williamson is alive. Snuffs that one out. Trikoff looking desperately for a pass to get rid of that ball. Barwitzki just forcing her way through, looking for Shakal, but that one cut out by Van Dort. Finds Shaw. Shaw has plenty in space in front of her, but she opts not to take it herself, launching the ball forward. Calabrese finds the overlapping Barwitzki. Oh, a nice looped ball into the channel for Shakal to chase. But Shaw with a stout defensive effort, making sure that doesn't go any further. Unfortunate pass from Ibe for her fullback, but Van Dort able to again step into the rescue. Ibe looking to just glance that one on, but Vogel winning a free kick, or loud coming together. Paris able to just about stay onside, fights to keep that one alive. As the Electric City FC back line were looking for an offside flag that would not come. Jenna Paris used her strength to keep that ball in a dangerous position and let loose a shot. This one a little wild. I'd be looking to turn, but goes down seemingly unattended. Paris loops that one across. Shaw able to get to it first. Doesn't get it clear, but Van Dort able to. The referee now bringing things to a close. I've been moving very, very uncomfortably. So we move into the last period of the game. The feared for rain has not yet shown itself. As this, as mentioned, this evening here in Hamilton has gotten pretty crisp, pretty cool. But there's plenty of heat on the field as these players fight to get their seasons off on the right foot. And it looks like Abe won't be able to carry on anymore. We can only hope that isn't too serious or long-term an injury. Hamilton get us going once more. Electric City, just a reminder, temporarily down to 10 players. Williamson doing well to evade the attentions of Michalopoulos. And Paris, who's been a real live wire all evening, looks for Shakal. Shakal looks like an incredibly combative forward. Nothing she's unwilling to fight for and chase by the looks of it. She's really looks like she's really happy to play physically. As Bawitsky having some fun over on that far side there, unable to really capitalize on the space that she made for herself. Scanlon looking for Drews. Not quite this time. Colwell takes the obvious route through Williamson, who's able to push forward with the ball at her feet. She's got a couple of options ahead of her. Paris needs to be careful she doesn't drift offside. But can't get the ball past Michalopoulos, the vastly experienced, of course. Michalopoulos, having spent time in the professional leagues over in Greece. Oh, Williamson nearly caught in possession by McQueen, but just about able to get away with it. Caldwell has Barwitzki on the overlap. Plays that one through. It's a great ball into the path of the overlapping fullback. She has to come back inside on that right foot, not able to free Shakal. And instead, it just feeds into the maw of the Electric City midfield. But Williamson, who's really growing into this game more and more this half, it seems to me. Maybe it's just as she's closer to me this time around. Shakal, like I say, just looks ready to fight. And now has gone down after what looks like an unfortunate clash of feet with Lamke. And then indeed we have Williamson down with a spot of cramp near to us as well. So neither team giving an inch here. None asked and none given. As it is a field that commonly sees, of course, the Hamilton Tiger Cats play in the CFL. It seems appropriate that these two teams are going nose to nose, refusing to cede an inch. Being able to knock that one out, but not get it any further than Scanlon of Hamilton. That one will find its way through to Caldwell. Will have the time to turn, but she's not free of pressure. Very coolly just placed that one up the line, though, as we enter into the 74th minute of the game. Still 0-0. Hamilton United do look like they've had the better chances, to my eye. A couple of very good opportunities early on in this second half in particular. That ball from Williamson looking for Paris, not a good one. Van Dort stepping out with the ball at her feet. She's a player that had come from actually just fresh off winning the National New Zealand Championships with Eastern Suburbs FC. And one that Randy Ribeiro, the head coach here, had praised for her ball playing ability. So we've certainly seen her comfortable with the ball at her feet thus far this evening. We have another Electric City player down as the referee brings play to a halt for Riley Trakoff to receive attention from the trainers. And a quick personnel note, we are back to 11v11, probably have been for a little while, as I've been able to shake off that knock that she received. And Trakoff down perhaps with what looks like maybe a touch of cramp. Really should come as no surprise. She's been eating up that the mileage on this, on the flank that she's on, the left flank for Electric City. Always eager to get forward, take the space ahead of her. Certainly capable of her tracking back, making sure she's attending to her defensive duties as well. Each team having a quick huddle on the field with all of the players involved. Maybe looking for a final push for the last 15 minutes or so of this game. Assessing their tactics, their routes towards goal, what's been working, what hasn't. For what it's worth, the two good chances that Hamilton had both came down the far side, their left-hand side, far side from us this half. They were able to kind of exploit some space and cut inside. Electric City thus far have not really carved open or crafted really any chances that you'd say were excellent ones. But 15 minutes is a long time in a game of football. I think we can all agree as Barwitzki gets found with her overlapping run. A neat ball looking, likely looking for an orange shirt in the middle of the field, but nearly finding its way in. Actually, she had a free kick in the first half that nearly did the same thing, actually. Nearly kind of found its way in into at the far post. This one drifting in at the near post as Shaw really with nowhere to go, blocked out by the the on-rushing Hamilton United press, kind of cut away all of her passing lanes. Ooh, a ball over for Paris. She tries to knock it in for Abreu, but Van Dort is there. Van Dort looks for McQueen. Does well to bring it in. Still has the ball at her feet, still alive. Her pass backs just kind of like split her own teammates, and Van Dort found herself in a bit of trouble, but does well to win the throw-in. Scanlon has Barwitzki constantly screaming for the ball. He looks to loft that one in for Shakala. It's not a bad looking ball, but just a wee bit too heavy. Oh, that's a nice turn from McQueen, looking for King, streaking up through the middle of the field. Quite able to get anywhere with it, but a good effort nonetheless. Oh, a lovely ball from Van Dorten. McQueen had held her run really nicely to stay on side, and she's got the space in front of her, but no real support. That ball into the middle of the field is speculative. Caldwell getting to the ball long before the onrushing Electricity player, so the screams for a penalty falling on the deaf ears of the referee. There's Bringerus now, steps forward. Doesn't get too far. Scanlon looking able to be strong on the ball, keep hold of that possession. She's still in space in the middle of the field. Barwitzki doesn't want it though. Keeps it moving to Vogel. She now finds Scanlon, but under a good deal of pressure from Michalopoulos. And the ball clear from Caldwell is looped up somewhat. Juris not able really to bring that one down. I didn't settle for her. Oh, that's a great ball over for McQueen, and her touch just eludes her enough for Vogel to be able to step in. But Trakoff is able to get to the bounce of the ball, but her header forward not directed sufficiently. Calabrese looking for options forward, doesn't have any. Comes back for Caldwell. The pace of the game picking back up again. As mentioned, we did start the second half with a little bit more kind of a pep in our step, so to speak, before a series of injuries and fouls and stoppages kind of brought the pace back down. But Paris shaping up against Trakoff, who does brilliantly to make sure there's no further forward movement there.
Electric City substitution in the 81st minute. Leaving the game is number 7, Aisha King. Entering the game is number 18, Katrina McFadden.
So Alicia King replaced by Katrina McFadden. Katrina McFadden, another Mount Royal player, alongside Monet Alonso Cruz. McFadden actually the holder of the Mount Royal University single season record for goal scoring with 9 goals in that last season. So 9 goals in 15 games. So maybe a good joker in the pack, so to speak, or an ace up the sleeve, perhaps, for Randy Rivera to play this late in the game. Certainly someone who knows how to sniff out a goal or two. See if this results in a slight change of shape, or certainly rolls, as it looks like Gillian McQueen has dropped a touch deeper. She certainly isn't spearheading the attack now that McFadden has been brought on. And of course, we'd already seen King brought inside in favor of Natalie Coscarella to take up that position on the far side, who, as we said, since her introduction, hasn't really seen too much of the ball, as this corner is lofted across, but Caldwell, as ever, reads the flight of the ball beautifully and is able to just meet it, see it out of play. She has been unbeatable in the air today. What a lovely take from McFadden. Able to stay strong on the ball. Oh, and that's in from Coscarella, looking for McQueen, but not quite able to find it. Juris looks to break the other way. Alonso Cruz stepping in. Finds the left foot of McQueen. Clearly not her favorite option, But even then, wasn't a bad attempt in any way, shape, or form. That was good play from Electric City, though, snapping into the challenges in the middle of the field, turning it over quickly and working nicely with some sharp, quick passes to find a forward in space who's able to take that free shot. Oh, a good turn and a wonderful ball through Shakal for Jurus to chase. She has options in the middle of the field, cuts in on that right foot, but Trakoff again, a real defensive redoubt, not able to get the ball past her. Scanlon is able to slip away from the attentions of McFadden. Baldwell able to step forward, and again Barwitzki with lots of time and place and space. Lifts that one over. Abreu on rushing. Oh, beautifully done. Oh, able to do it. This was a pattern of play that we've seen. Barwitzki with those runs over the rushing up that far side, the Hamilton left side. The ball then this time was a tricky one, allowed to bounce in the penalty area, and Abreu coming from a slightly deeper position. She's playing in the middle of the puck. You've seen her on the wings earlier in the first one. Able to get her head to it, beat the keeper, but again a clearance off the line from a Electric City fullback. This time Riley Trakoff her first time, but the second time a Electric City fullback has cleared the ball off the line. And we are still tied at 0-0 with just around 5 minutes left in regular time. As mentioned, this must be a real fillip for the folks for Hamilton United. They are showing a real desire to get forward and score some goals. Certainly have had the run of the play. The second half have looked much more likely to my eye to be the ones to score. But of course, with the goal scoring potential in this Electric City FC team, you can never count them out. They'll really just need one clean opportunity to make the thus far stingy Hamilton United defense pay. It has to be said, this Electric City FC press from these forward players isn't quite as sharp as the Hamilton one, as evidence there as Paris looks for the Joel Shakal, but Lemke does well to read that, get across, and just get that one safely into touch. It was good work from Paris and Abreu to kind of cut off those passing options and get that ball forward. That one looking for the feet of Shakal, but Alonso Cruz reads it. It's a forward for McFadden. As IB just glides past Williams, and a lofted ball forward looking for McQueen. A touch off target. Abreu doing very nicely against Mihalopoulos, fighting well. Shakal with a nice touch. Juris needs to stay on side, but Shakal will go herself. Shapes up to shoot. Maybe just took a little bit too long. Mihalopoulos recovered very nicely. Get that challenge in and take that shooting opportunity away. Shakal maybe wanted a little bit too much time to really kind of craft that one onto her right foot. Perhaps should have moved the ball forward for Jerus, as now Riley Trakoff just looks to streak down the wing. And Williamson, in her attempts to halt the advance of IB, does so, but earns a yellow card for her drop balls. As we wind our way towards the last few minutes of regular time, my apologies. Things are ratcheting up. The tension is really palpable on this field. Van Dort's ball forward, really not what Electric City were looking for, as Paris lofts one really just for Shakal to chase, but this one perhaps optimistic. Oh, but a poor ball forward finds its way to Abreu. She's looking for options, able to turn back inside for Shakal. Able to stay strong in the challenge. Tries to either take the shot or feed Jerus. Wins the free kick in a dangerous position. Given up by Monet Alonso Cruz, but the ball actually looked like it was breaking for Bryn Jerussi, who was able to, looked like she was actually maybe looking for an advantage, but we've been called back nonetheless. The free kick central. And quite far out. So not a great place really for launching like a set piece opportunity. It does look as if they'll be launching to shoot. Guerrero in the Electric City FC goal will have to be sharp and lively on her feet in case this does come her way. But as mentioned, yeah, it is quite straight, so the wall will cover presumably one half of the goal, and Guerrero is actually quite central in her goal. Looks like she's anticipating either direction, so we'll see whether Abreu is able to keep this one down. Oh, and unfortunately lost that one into the Claire Hamilton night. Maybe underestimated how much energy was left in her leg with that effort.
Not yet.
Mihalopoulos with a neat turn finds Van Dort, who has Trakoff on this near side with plenty of space ahead of her. And as we've seen, she just wants to take that space, turn, and just dash into it away from Paris. Williamson on a string. Ooh, but the two of them just about able to steal the ball back there. Williamson's ball forward, only as far as Van Dort, but Abreu, who along with Paris, I think actually has been, for me, a real highlight of this game. And Barwitzki's still running, still claiming space. Ooh, looking to play in. Oh, and a great turn from Shakar with the outside of her right foot, trying to get into the space in between the defenders, but Van Dort able to be in attendance and do just enough to knock Shakal off balance. How cool is that from Brianna Caldwell? Just bring it down. Had two Electric City FC players rushing off either side of her. Trakoff there with a great ball over the top for McQueen to chase. First time, saw the opportunity straight away. McQueen's ball, unfortunately looking for McFadden but not able to beat Vogel. We're seeing, I think, some tired passes out here, some real scruffy stuff, but it could be that could provide the opportunity for a little bit of craft, just a little bit of class to take the chance. McQueen dawdled perhaps a bit on the ball, and Barwitzki able to come back nicely and attend to her defensive duties. Shaw keeps that one moving for Alonso Cruz. Looks to play in McFadden, but the ball is a little loose. Now Shakal tussling with Lamke. Lamke wants to turn, but actually wins the free kick. Van Dort again has Trakoff. Oceans of space on this side. This, I think, has been a really intriguing matchup on this near side between the two fullbacks. What a turn! Oh my goodness! Katrina McFadden receiving the ball, swiveling and striking it in one smooth movement. And again, it looked as if it was initially as if it was speculative as much as anything else, but clearly she knew what she was doing and nearly dropping in, just shaving the bar on its way over. We've seen a few of those this evening. And that's good work from Jurusto to find Abreu. Now she has options ahead of her, looking for Shakal. The ball a touch heavy, but Shakal able to keep it in, but forced wide by the pass. She has three orange shirts, looked for Barwitzki, but Coscarella had come back and done the defensive work very well. Now Caldwell and McFadden battling away, and Caldwell, again, has not put a foot wrong thus far this evening. As Shaw knocks that ball forward for Shakal, looks to bring it across. Oh, dangerous stuff again. This is last-ditch stuff from Electric City. But there's always someone there. There's always someone on hand to loop that one free. And now they are right back up the other end as McFadden was looking for McQueen, but the ball behind her strike partner, finding only Williamson, the retreating fullback, who was under a lot of pressure. That was not a great pass from Vogel. Caldwell able to step in and sweep up, but Vogel, yeah, really didn't need to play Williamson into that danger, and Ibe was on hand to as Kayla McQueen wins a free kick in a dangerous spot now, and an opportunity for Electric City to launch a set piece right at the death of the game here. Some dramatic moments. The referee indicating he wants it to be taken on the whistle. Nothing quick. Trickoff will loop that one across, and as ever, Caldwell there to head it away and bring this game to a close. A 0-0 tie for these two teams to open their season. Hamilton United looked like a threat moving forward. Electric City always, of course, a danger on the break with the amount of scoring on their team, but 0-0 in the end. A hard-fought, tense game between the two teams. But thank you for joining us on our stream here, our Game of the Week stream for the first of our season, of course, for the League One Ontario Women's Premier Division. On behalf of myself and the entire crew, thank you for joining us, and good evening.